So EMR is a fully managed service by Amazon Web Services for Elastic MapReduce. Okay. We have discussed many things on EMR, and we are yet to discuss more about EMR as well. There are many types of MapReduce. You have Twister, you have Elastic MapReduce, and there are many things and so on. Hadoop, Big Hive frameworks for uh, big data compilation, etc., etc. Okay, so here is one. All you need to do is you will have clusters of computers, host nodes that will operate on big data to get results. That is what the main objective of being MapReduce is. Okay, we'll just head on to creating. This is the dashboard for EMR. We'll have clusters, notebooks, Git repositories. There are so many things here. We'll just start with creating a cluster, create cluster. We'll just meantime head towards the documentation of Amazon Web Services EMR's getting started page. This is a simple getting started use case program for EMR. Here are the prerequisites before getting into your EMR service. Okay. All you need to do is you need to go for you should have an account on AWS. Only then you can work with EMR. That is what it has been said here. Then followed by you need to have an SSH key and an S3 bucket. S3 bucket is for storing the output, taking input from S3, and followed by log, the events log, which is being triggered over the multiple configurations. In order to deploy a framework of big data applications, you may require months or even years for companies to deploy those EMR related frameworks. For example, when you want to have a Hive framework on your premises or any shared location or any business application towards business perspective, then it may take for about 6 to 8 months in order to deploy an Hive application or Hadoop clusters, etc., etc. Because everything has to be scripted manually and it has to be deployed and so on. Whereas in case of EMR, everything is being automated. All you need to do is you need to just give parameters to those systems and automatically it will just commission, provision, deploy, automate, and give you the result. Okay, we don't require any special softwares in order to get into this EMR sector. Then all you need to do is you need to have, as I said, EC2 key pairs that just to get into EC2 instance. All EMR nodes will be deployed on EC2 based provisioning systems. Okay. And then launching a cluster. These clusters will have something like creating a cluster will have following parameters that you need to state. As we discussed, you will have master node and slave node. Call them as master and core here, core nodes, and followed by you'll have task. You can just split up your task into multiple sections. Either counting, MapReduce has many things, many operations. You can just break a big problem into smaller units. You can create each one as a task and give those informations to give those commands to your EMR system so that it can just give you a desired output. Okay, for example, counting of words in a document. All you need to do is you need to first count the whole number of pages in a book on a document, or then number of lines, and then followed by number of words in every line. So these are all the steps that you need to require in order to process very fast in terms of nodes and so on. Okay, and you need to deploy a more secure clusters, because anyone can just enter into a cluster once we don't have any security over there. So you need to be very clear on who is going to access these missions or security groups for through SSH. Okay, so those things need to be uh, monitored and customized. And here are the parameters that you need to change, like cluster name, then followed by logging. They want to log those informations or not. Then followed by you have something called as framework S3 folder for logging, which S3 folder that you're going to store those logging informations. And here is the path, probably the S3 colon AWS log account number, to which region and Elastic MapReduce and so on. Okay, then followed by you have got launch mode. We are using cluster mode. You have the other few modes as well. Then followed by releases, which version of Elastic MapReduce that you wish to execute. In the sense, each EMR will have separate set of or combination of frameworks and models. In the sense, you may have Hadoop, Hive, Pig. There are many such Spark, etc., etc. So you can just customize those EMR versions to which EMR you are going to, which flavor of EMR is you are going to take. Okay, so we'll just see in action in a few minutes. Then applications, which application you are going to use. We are going to use Hadoop Core. Then what type of instance is M5.X large, which will contain for about 32 GB of RAM, and I guess it is 16 virtual CPUs that you will have in this cluster. So you need to select M5X large. You can even change when you just go for a lower version of a lower instance type. So it will take time. When you have when you increase the memory and CPU sizes numbers, you'll get a prosperous output. Okay. Then followed by you'll have number of instances. Basically, the minimum is 3 here, because one is master and the other 2 is nodes, cluster nodes. Okay, which will work on behalf of master. Then EC2 key pairs for login and do if it is required. Permissions, you require an IAM request, IAM role there. So everything is built already. We'll just jump on to the EMR console. This is our EMR console here. Go for create cluster. Give a name here. MCA 1921. You can give any name here, and I would just want to log all those processes into S3 folder, which would be on this location. Fine. And launch mode, it is cluster or step execution. AWS supports both type of launch mode. We'll go for cluster here. And here are all the versions, the combinations of these EMR releases. We have got many such releases here. You can select any one. We'll just leave on to default. And applications, seems, one second. And applications, you have got so many what we call it as frameworks for MapReduce here. like Core Hadoop, HBase, Presto, Spark. These are all separate products. Okay, we need not worry about. We just select Core Hadoop. This is on our what we call as curriculum. Then followed by, let me select the instance type as M5, which is very expensive in terms of money. Okay, when you run them for about an hour, you will get about $5 to $6 as your bills, which contains 64K of RAM and GP2 ABS storages. Okay, you'll get GPUs as well, 2 GPUs for nodes. Fine. Then followed by EC2 key pair. I have Glasswork as my EC2, which is being installed in my system. Roles, these things are defaults. Okay, that's I created earlier. Let me just go for create cluster. And hardware, it will take 10 to 15 minutes in order to initialize and instantiate these systems. Till then, we need to wait for, and we'll just discuss the rest of other two sections about giving access to SSH and one second. Yeah, we'll just head on to this step 3 here. Allowing SSH access, which means only you are expected to enter into your machine. Not everyone can just get into your clusters at any cost. So in order to do that, you need to go to EMR console here, and under summary tab, you are expected to get into this section, security and access, and you need to just open this master node, security group of master, and select this console. You'll be having both master and slave security groups. Just select master node, and you need to edit inbound rule as edit inbound rules. And this is in production grade exercises. You are not expected to edit these things at on your lab exercises manual, so you can just skip them this part. Okay, the step 3, giving SSH access. All you need to add inbound rules here. Add rule. One is SSH. '22 custom my IP address. You can either give this any address. This is open to all, but you are expected to use only my IP address here, which is 172.168.102.82. Okay, then save rules. Anyway, we are not going to enter into SSH or run EC2 instance at any cost here, just for your information. When you happen to see and go to EC2 instances, you can find those instances running on. See, 3 instances of M5.large is running. Okay, so this has been given for EMR console, and when you find it as a network and hardware, you can find these things as like bootstrapping of one master node and core of 2 provisioning and 5 large. So we have to wait till the waiting state here. It's still starting, and meantime we'll just get into the step functions. Okay, all you need to do is you'll have set of tabs here that will give you all sorts of information that you require here, and you just head on to steps, and once it is complete you'll get this is completed state, and this would be changed to waiting. Your cluster is waiting for your input. That is what it means. So once it is over, all you need to do is you need to run an Hive script here. What does an Hive script require? It requires an input data, then followed by from an S3 bucket, then followed by the Hive script, which is going to run, which is your business layer. You can just write any Hive program. You'll read those things on big data, how to create or how to edit or even how to reproduce those Hive scripts on big data. So here is an sample for you. Okay, this is what the sample data is, which lies on S3, and the Hive code that you require in order to execute. Okay, and followed by, in this example, we have an internet log. Internet log which counts. The objective of this execution of this exercise is to count the number of people accessing some application which is being from which browser and devices. That is what the question here is. We'll have for about 45,000, 50,000 records on this sample data of which is being stored on S3 on this location. S3 region.elasticmapreduce.samples.cloudfront/data, and when you happen to see these are all the parameters which is being given on an internet log. When you happen to, even when you browse an application, every browser will give you a record for every page or for every request, and these are all the parameters which is being recorded for all internet activities. Or that is a date object, then local time, location, byte, a request IP, method, host, URI string, then status, referrer, OS string, and browser version. These are all the parameters that is being recorded, and we are just going to consider or filter our MapReduce function to OS here. Okay, we are just going to count number of links people who visited from different OSs to our site. That is what is the problem statement here. And in order to run your Hive script as in step, these are all the steps you need to follow here. Okay, then here is in script location, S3 region elastic MapReduce.sample cloudfront.hive. This is a script here, and you need to replace the region. You can select any region of S3 object, or you can select any output folder or Hive script, etc., etc., provided you must have those resources there with known permissions. Okay, then these are all the settings here. Input of S3 location, output of S3 location. Everything is being dependent on S3 here. That is, your EC2 is being monitored with fuse controller of S3 objects by default automatically. That's what we did on last class, and which is being taken up to those instances of AMR. Okay. So we'll just see, this could be your guest output, that when you open document on a Word file or on a pad, you can find, and with Android users, about 855 people have browsed those site. With Linux 813, Mac OS 852, OS X 799, Windows 833, and iOS 794. This could be your guest output after completing your execution, EMR executions. Okay, we'll just head on to this site, this is dashboard of EMR. Still it is running. We need to wait for in the meantime. We'll just add these steps here. Go to add step. We are just going to execute Hive program here, and then followed by program name is MCA1921. You can give any name here. We don't have any restrictions here. And for script location, let me just take this script location by default. My data is with this is for data here. Let me copy and paste for input location of data. Instead of region, US East -1. That is what it is given, I guess. US West 2. Okay. Even this will work, provided you must have the proper location of these samples there. Okay, and output, I want this output on my this location, that is cassette MCA1921. Let me select this, and the script that I just wish to have is, the script is lying here. You have to copy properly. Instead of region, I just want to take out the same region, US West -2. Okay. Then arguments, if you want to give any pass optional arguments to your script, of course you can give it here. We don't have any arguments as of now. What happens if the step fails? Then just simply continue. Okay, then add. Now the cluster state is waiting state, and it is looking for this script step to run. Okay, and the cluster ready after last step completed. Last step is just setting up Hadoop debugging, which is an automated script given by the cluster itself, and now this is running. We need to refresh them, and it literally processed for about 45 to 50,000 records here on this sample data. We have to wait for at least 10 to 15 minutes in order to process this. Meantime, you can just move on to AWS S3 here, and you can find those data there. We've selected 1921, isn't it? And all our logs came into this US East 2 AWS logs. Elastic MapReduce. We've got so many what we call it as these nodes logs. So these steps has been okay. We'll just head on to our output folder here, output bucket. Cassette MCA 1921. It is 1921. Still the process is running, it seems. Still it is pending here. Seems it has failed for some reasons. All you need to do is you need to refresh this log. You should know why it is being failed. You happen to see here S3 field execution error run from Alt on Apache. Access denied. Probably this information isn't available as S3 here, I guess. But, they have been put up on some what we call it as it is not available right now. And this is the process to get output here, and we'll just reload them. We add one more step here. Hive program, Hive 2, the location strip. We are running on Mumbai region. EC2 EMR console on Mumbai region. We'll just select Mumbai region here. Output is MCA 1921. Input location. Let me just copy this location. This is for region, isn't it? Copy. Script location is here instead of region. Need to give AP South 1. This is the format, and for input location, let me just take this as input location. AP hyphen South hyphen 1. Just make an add here. We'll just wait for another 5 to 10 minutes. Probably this will get through your step. There's some access there. Let me just fix it and show you on the next class. Okay. So this is the process that you need to work out. Let me just check whether S3 is accessible there or not. I guess you don't have any such data there. Okay, this is what you're expected to do on EMR, and we'll just on the next class we'll move on to something called as SageMaker. This is very powerful machine learning and big data. You don't even require to deploy those clusters here. It is auto scaling to at a high scale. All you need to do is you need to create a notebooks here and just write your programs over it. Okay, we'll just check out there. If you have any questions, you can just post your questions now. Yes? And if you don't have any questions, you can just leave.